Welcome back to another episode of Stuck in the Middle. You're now listening and watching the Couch Talk here on SitM Podcast. I'm your host, Sir Charles, aka Capo, and I'm joined here by Miss Vanessa Bisanga.
Hello.
But before we get into that, make sure you visit www.sitmpodcast.com to shop exclusive merch. Yo, you know it's hoodie season, so you got to get you a hoodie.
Gang.
I know you be stealing your boyfriend's hoodies.
I don't have a boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
My brother's, yes.
Okay, your brother's hoodies. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to www.sitmpodcast.com.
Got it.
Hit the merch button. Scroll down. Cop you a hoodie. Okay. Cop your brother a hoodie. And then we're going to be good. Because this is the fuel that drives the machine.
Amen.
Now back to us. How you doing, Miss Vanessa?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You know, I can't complain. I ain't seen you in a little bit.
I know. It's been a minute. What's new?
Man, life is new. Everything is new. You know, we here. We enjoying ourselves on the podcast.
That's good.
We having a few conversations. What's new with you?
Nothing much. You know, just work life.
Work life. You just celebrated a birthday. Congratulations.
I did.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
No boyfriend, so niggas slide in the DM.
Lord.
Hey. I just got to make sure I do my shameless plug and let the niggas know that, yo, your DMs is open for business.
I mean, hey.
But thanks for joining me on the podcast. You know, I decided to have an interesting topic come up, you know, with plastic surgery. So, you know, let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
Sure.
So, recently, you know, I just been trying to understand, you know, all this hype surrounding plastic surgery and why nowadays there's this new prominence to getting plastic surgery as opposed to getting, you know, going the traditional route with working out and things of that nature. You know, so what are your thoughts on this newfound wave of women getting plastic surgery?
First and foremost, it's accessible to everybody. I feel like it's cost effective, and with now people have the ability to pay for it. It's something that has also become pretty common for people to do. It's like, okay, if I don't got a butt, I'm gonna get a BBL. if I got some weight, if I'm a little bit thicker, I'm gonna get some liposuction. If I want to have bigger boobs, I'm gonna get a boob job. If I want to have white teeth, I'm gonna get some veneers. So I think when you look at whatever insecurity that you have, if there's a method to, you know, have a surgery and change it and you're able to afford it, most people are like, I might as well do that.
Right. No, I get that, right? Because, you know, back in the day when I used to think about it, like I said, I saw this new hype and it was like almost frowned upon back then, but now it just seems sort of acceptable. Do you feel that plastic surgery or getting BBLs has become socially acceptable?
Yes.
What, like, why? What made that change?
I feel like when we want to look at pop culture and stuff like that, a lot of people are doing it in pop culture. A lot of the influencers and stuff like that, people who we look at every day are doing it. Social media is not what it was back in the day as well. So right now you actually have the ability of seeing everybody who does their plastic surgery. People talk about it as glorified. Everybody's either doing has a massage business or some type of plastic surgery business. So yeah, because of that, I feel like culture has just accepted it. It is what it is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, because it's just crazy to see the amount of women that are willing to take that risk, or not risk maybe, but just willing to go that route of getting plastic surgery as opposed to that traditional route. When it comes to plastic surgery, I'm not sure, you know, I know you personally, you know, a little bit, and you don't have to share or indulge, but, you know, has that ever been something that you maybe ever thought about, or maybe something that you might have considered in your lifetime?
I did plastic surgery last year.
What prompted you to want to do that?
So I went from a size 4 to 6 to a size 14 to 16.
You did what? Okay, now I'm a male. When I hear the number 4 and the number 6, to you know, a few sizes up, you know. Now I don't know what shape
so
that
I was
looks like.
110 pounds.
Okay, you don't have to throw numbers.
Whatever. I was 110 pounds.
Okay.
And the morning of my surgery, I was 234 pounds thereabout.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Like I said, what was the reason behind you wanting to take that next step and actually do that?
So honestly speaking, for me, I didn't really. I had heard about liposuction and BBLs and all these different things. I heard about it. However, I thought that it was expensive. I had never done the research. So I had a friend of mine, who me and her were talking, and she was about to do a BBL, and she basically told me. So when she told me like, "Oh, I'm going to do a BBL," I'm like, "How much is it?" And she was like, "Oh, it's like $6,000." I was like, "What?
Okay.
How much was the liposuction?" And
you saying $6,000 like it's just nothing.
Well,
like it's just
no,
nothing.
it's not that, but it's.
I know what you do for a living, so I know you got a little change in your pocket.
Don't listen to him. Don't.
But hey, fellas, come correct now.
Don't listen.
But hey, you were saying, I'm sorry.
So when she said that, I was like, oh really? So then I started doing like research on how much a liposuction is going to cost me, and then when I figured out the price, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do that.
Okay. So I mean, what sorts of steps should women take when? Or what sorts of steps should women take when doing the research to know if that's something that they actually want to do?
Okay, so for me, the steps that I took, I first of all went and I put like the hashtag liposuction. So because on Instagram it brings you up. I don't have a Twitter, so Instagram is like my go-to. So I went, I looked at it, I researched it, like what does it entail, etc., etc. And I used to see all these people. You have to be X amount BMI, which is body mass index. You have to be 36 BMI. You need to be this. You need to be that. So they establish that based off your heights and your weight. That's how they pretty much do that, because there's a safe BMI that you have to be. There's a safe weight, right, for them to do surgery on you. I think what you said earlier was correct. It is a risk. Surgery is a risk. They put you under. You're under anesthesia. So so I was doing all of that research, and with my weight, my BMI at the point was 42, which obviously I was way over.
Girl, was a whole lot of...
Yeah, I was way over the limit. So I kept on doing research, and then I stumbled upon, while also doing my Google searches and stuff like that, I stumbled upon high volume liposuction, right? And I was like, okay, what's this? So high volume liposuction, the way they do it is that you don't have to necessarily lose weight. It is going to cost you way more money, but in that aspect, in that regard, they're able to take out more fat, right? Unlimited fat, as they say. So I went with that option of having unlimited, to having the high volume liposuction, and I did it in July 2020.
In doing that, right, you decided not to move that fat to anywhere else, or girl? Because I seen your before, I seen your after, and you look banging. I'm gonna respectfully say you look amazing.
Thank you.
In your after.
Thank you.
Has it brought you any additional attention or?
It has. Like so the attention that most times you don't want. That's the thing. It's in the attention that you don't want.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of people noticed that I did liposuction because you see my picture today, and it was I was a big girl. I had cheeks, I had like a neck, I had all these things, and then you see my picture a month later. Well, it wasn't a month later, like 2 months later, and it's like everything is gone, and at least there's some type of contour to my body. So I think people definitely asked. The ones who were bold enough to ask me did. The ones who weren't bold enough to ask me, they asked other people or made their assumptions, and that's what it was. So there is a lot of attention, some of it negative, some of it positive. Well, so you look good, obviously, but yeah, I think that was about it.
Now we'll get back to that. So a little bit back to the research, right?
Right.
How can you identify who's the right surgeon or doctor for your procedure? Like how do you identify who that person is, and you know what I mean? What questions are you asking that person to make sure that your health is not at risk or put at risk by you deciding to make that decision?
If I'm being 100% honest with you, I don't even know how to honestly answer that question.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because when I was at that point to doing liposuction, I was in a different mindset. I feel like before you want to do liposuction, before you want to do your research, you first of all have to ask yourself, why do I want to have plastic surgery? Whether it's a BBL, a boob job, veneers, whatever it is, right? Why do I want to do it? Because I think people really don't think about the fact that plastic surgery, it is a risk, number one. And number two, the aftermath of plastic surgery is no joke.
Really?
Yeah, and I can speak for lipo because I had lipo and I know how I felt for lipo. So I cannot even imagine what people who have BBLs go through. I can't start to imagine what people who have boob drops go through, right? I think veneers, they're a little bit, I haven't had veneers, but I would like to think that it's a little bit less, it's not as painful, right, or complicated. But yeah, people don't. You really have to focus on your why, because honestly speaking, if your why is because you have certain insecurities, you have to really check yourself and check those insecurities first. Because after surgery, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the exact results that you want. Like, if I can tell you right now that this is what I thought I was going to look like after surgery, no. The pictures that I showed my doctor, I was like, this is how I want to look. He's like, oh, okay, we could do that. But then immediately after surgery, you're not that. Obviously, there's and that's the thing. I think people don't even know the process of surgery. That's cool. There's an entire process. So, yeah, I'll let you.
No, I mean, we're talking about it, right? Because one of the things I was really asking was what steps are you taking? So for you per se, right? Did you just know that you were just going to do liposuction only, or did you actually look into liposuction versus getting a BBL or other forms of plastic surgery?
So first and foremost, liposuction for me, I was just like, I'm getting lipo. And originally, I was only wanting to get lipo in my abdominal area. I didn't really think about any other place, right, until my consultation. And we'll talk about that.
In other places.
Oh, I had liposuction from my chin all the way down to my knees.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. We gotta talk about that. Okay. I didn't need a BBL. I already have a booty. God bless my mama. So I didn't want to get a BBL. I'm very comfortable with the size of my boobs, so I didn't even think about getting my boobs either.
I'm just saying your butt would have been a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with what it is right now.
We'll talk about it.
I'm fine with what it is right now. So for me, liposuction was weight. Now, I heard about stuff like a gastric bypass. I heard about all these other things. However, I wanted a situation where it's like you go in, you get it done, you come out. Because even with the gastric bypass, they're cutting off a portion of your stomach, but there's still a lot of exercising and maintenance and all this stuff they have to do. I didn't want to do all that work. I was being lazy, so I was like, okay, liposuction.
Right, and that was it, right? So yeah, talk about some of what that post-recovery process is like. For you, what experiences did you go through after liposuction? And then as well, like I said, it seems like you did do a lot of the research on plastic surgery. You did weigh your options. So if you could share what you do know about that, is that recovery process like when going through those procedures?
I feel like before I can get to the recovery process, I kind of have to talk about just getting into
the process.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, obviously, big, I want to be smaller. I did a lot of different research, right? Because one of my biggest barriers is because of my weight and because of what my BMI was, I had to lose weight. There was with other surgeons, going to Miami, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, or whatever foreign country it wasn't an option for me unless I lost almost 40 pounds.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, okay, it's going to take me a while to lose 40 pounds. The truth of the matter is, around that time, I was dealing with depression. That's just the simple truth about it. And my depression caused me to overeat, right? I make excuses for it today and be like, oh no, it's because I was doing this and doing that. No, the truth of the matter is that I was depressed. And because of that depression, because I really didn't know the trajectory of where I wanted to take my life, I truly believe what, if you get liposuction, maybe if you're skinnier, things in your life would go better. That was me. So my why was get lipo, get back to your weight that the weight that you're comfortable with. Did I try to work out? Absolutely. But also, when you're dealing with your own insecurities and stuff like that, working out, I wasn't seeing that much progress. I was instead becoming more built, muscular, instead of actually slimming down to the contour that I wanted. So I came upon a doctor who's actually in Ellicott City, and he does high volume liposuction. First and foremost, I think one thing that people really need to consider is that you need an actual plastic surgeon to do plastic surgery. If you're going to opt to do surgery, please go to a plastic surgeon. They definitely do cost a lot more money, but that's your safest option because they're actually skilled. They go to school for plastic surgery. Now, there's surgeons who now go and get licensed to do cosmetic surgery.
I read that.
And that is very dangerous because
it's only like a 2-day process sometimes to get that license.
That's very dangerous because a plastic surgeon, they know exactly what it is. So because of me, one thing is that my mind wasn't really all that set on liposuction in the beginning. For me, I was like, I don't care how much money I spent. I just want to make sure that no matter what happens, as long as I go to sleep, I wake up. So my option was a plastic surgeon who actually is in the Glen Burnie area. So I went there. I keep on saying Glen Burnie. It's Ellicott City. Same difference anyway. Mm-hmm. So I contacted his office. I made a consultation. Now, mind you, this was all during the pandemic. So
it was hectic.
Oh, yes. Hectic. So initially my surgery was slated for April, but pandemic, I ended up doing it in July. So I went for the consultation. My initial plan was to just do my abdominal area, my stomach area. Went in there, and they have these things like they will talk you into a lot of stuff. They're like, okay, you know that we can do your chin, we can do your arms, we can do your legs, we can do your inner outer thighs, we can do your back, we can do your this. I was like, y'all can do all that.
Were they adding the prices while they were?
Oh yeah. So that's the thing. Every single part of your body that you do costs you money. So my surgery cost me a lot of money. I would say, I'm not gonna lie about that.
If you're comfortable sharing, share. But if not,
my surgery was about $20,000.
Fellas, see what I said? If you come correct.
Yeah, because the thing about it is that they charge you, and that's the thing, the entire surgery. And when I say the entire surgery, you have to pay for the actual surgery. You have to pay for medication. You have to pay for lab work. You need to pay for post-surgery stuff, which is massages, compression garments, pillows, a lot of stuff. If you have BBLs, it's a whole nother expense that you need to pay for. So I think, so for me, it cost that amount of money because, like I said, I did from the bottom of my chin all the way down to my knees. Every single area. Back, chin, whatever. My surgery was 7 hours long. Okay. They took out 14 liters of fat. So about 7 Coca-Cola bottles. Coca-Cola bottles. Yeah. And I woke up. Obviously, I was inside the hospital. So I still had like all the different anesthesia on my body. Didn't feel anything when I woke up. Felt great.
High as shit.
Felt great. Very numb. Cool. The second day, because the good thing with when you have high volume liposuction, you have to stay in the hospital overnight. Mm-hmm. Because they take out so much fat from your body, they need to be able to monitor you because it's not only fat that they're removing from your body, it's also a lot of blood that they're removing from your body too. Because so the way how it was explained to me is that everybody is born with a certain amount of fat cells. Okay. Right? So what liposuction do, it's like a little machine. So let's say you're born with 10 fat cells, right? So they use this machine. What they first do, they make a small incision in your body and they pump in this liquid. That liquid, it melts the fat, and then they basically suck it out using like this long canal. Yeah. So they're doing this
for 7 hours straight.
7 hours straight on every single part of your body. There's some that are small, so like for my chin, they use a smaller canal. For my thighs, they use a longer canal. They're doing that for 7 hours straight. So the thing about it is like it's literally going like this into your body. So you can almost imagine it's almost like somebody punching it. Now it's inside of your body, right? Yeah. So that's where the pain from like post lipo comes from. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're born with 10 fat cells, right? As they're removing it, they now remove 8 of those fat cells. So now you have 2 fat cells. Now, the truth of the matter is those 2 fat cells, you can still gain weight. Now, you might not gain weight as fast as before. However, you can still gain weight. And I think that's a part of my journey that my doctor kind of left out. And for me, the fear is like, now looking back now, I'm like, dang, I don't have kids. Mm-hmm. So I know when I have kids, I'm obviously going to gain weight. I know that as I'm getting older, as your health starts to decline with age, there's going to be weight gain and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like, was it really necessary for me to spend all that money for me to, but hey, that's another conversation to have. So
let me pause. So it's interesting that you say that, right? And the reason why is because, you know, I actually work with someone who I actually did the same thing, right? And they showed me their before.
Yeah.
They showed me their after.
Yeah.
And then I see their present.
Yes.
So with their before, right, they were a big girl, a very big girl.
Right.
I don't know the numbers yet. I don't ask women their weights and stuff like that. But then they showed me their post-op, right? It was like they went very slim and petite. Last year, I think she had a baby. I think she had a baby actually 2 years ago, so the baby's now 2.
Right.
And she does not look like her post-op.
Yeah.
She basically gained all that weight back.
Right.
But she's still dealing with a lot of the post-op, I don't want to say issues, but post-op things that you have to deal with once completing a surgery like that of that magnitude.
Truth of the matter is my back is still numb. I don't have no feeling in my back. 0.
Okay, that's a little wild.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. They tell you all these things and you don't think about it. They're like, oh, these are the possibilities. You also have to understand, with me, I did it, my surgery was, 7 hours long? So with the amount of fat that they took out from my back and stuff like that, I get it, right? And I'm just happy that was probably my only, side effect, right? There's a psychological thing after surgery.
Okay.
Regardless of, so for me, and maybe it's not for everybody else, but post surgery, you sleep. I mean, they put the injection on you. You wake up. You still have all this medication. The second day, before you leave the hospital, you have to pee. You know, just because they put a catheter on you so that, you know, They take it all out. So before you leave the hospital, you have to pee and you have to walk. It was the most painful.
Which one? Painful piss or walk?
Everything. Everything was so painful. And again, I didn't have a BBL, so I'm able to sit on my butt. For girls who have BBLs, you cannot sit on your butt for 8 weeks.
Sorry.
They have special pillows where you put the pillow and you sit on your thigh because your butt has to hang out because you're. So basically, for those who opt to do a BBL, they take out that fat, they separate the fat from the blood, which is a cell saver, and then they pump that fat back into your butt. Right? So they literally take it in the machine, and they're doing that thing into your butt, right? So
that thing into your butt, right?
Yeah, the little canal.
Into your butt, right? Yeah.
Stop. But this is the thing. With girls who have BBLs, a lot of people think that they go and get BBLs over and over and over again. No. As you're gaining weight, because you've transferred that fat from where it was to another place,
your butt is getting
bigger as you're gaining weight. So a lot of guys will think, oh, why she went and got her booty done again? No, she didn't. She's just gaining weight. And so the recovery. I came initially, they told me it was going to be 2 weeks. It ended up being 3.5 weeks. They gave me a lot of medication, which I couldn't take. I'm not a girl who can really take narcotics. They gave me Percocet. I had 50 Percocet pills.
You still
no, sorry. I had 60 Percocet pills.
You got Perc 30s?
What? For what?
Perc 30s.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm joking with you.
They prescribed me 60 Percocet pills. I had 30 Valium. I had 30 Tramadol.
They wanted you high.
I had Tylenol, the one that's mixed with
oxycodone.
Yes, I had that. About 25 of them. I had ibuprofen. I had blood thinners. I had about 8 different.
How much pain did they think you were in?
Well, if you have liposuction,
you're in pain.
You're some pain. Even regular liposuction, you in some pain. And they all have different times that you should take them. The Valium is for anxiety because they know you're gonna have anxiety after. The Percocets is for pain and for you to sleep. I'm somebody who medication and me, we just don't mix. So every single time I take it, I have the wildest side effects. So I was at a point where I was pretty much taking ibuprofen and Tylenol because those were the only things that could barely walk for all these days. And you have to keep active because you don't want to get blood clots. Right? So I had to wear compression socks. I could show you a video actually. Because just to wobbling to the bathroom, you have to wear the compression garment because like I said, in the beginning of surgery, they pump a liquid into your body to melt the fat. So those compression garments is it's literally suffocating. You almost can't breathe because they need to keep that area tight. Then you need to have massages. So that it's the lymphatic drainage massages, because like I said, that liquid, they need to be able to drain it out through all the different incisions that you have. I had a total of 9 incisions because of all the different areas that I had. So you have to do those massages, and they hurt.
Right.
They are painful. There's a psychological effect with post-surgery, I believe, because for me, I literally went through like, why did I do this? What's wrong with me? Stuff like that. And then even post-surgery, when I started to gain weight again, I started to get really frustrated, because the whole point of me, my why for doing surgery is because I was fat. But then it's like, okay, you go and do surgery. It's not going to solve your fat. It's not going to solve me being fat. It's me having to actually be motivated to go to the gym, right? Now, when we have girls who go and get BBLs done, right? Not judging, you have to do what you feel like you have to do. But you can't sit on your butt for that long. It's a fact. You can't sit on your butt for that long. It hurts. It does hurt. I do have, very close friends who have done BBLs. It hurts. It's most of them get it done in like Miami, or they go international. That in itself is very dangerous, because flying, you can get a blood clot through flying.
It's happened.
For me, I knew from the beginning I was not going to go international, because I just don't trust it. There's a lot of people who have died. There's a lot of people who have had infections. There's a lot of people. I know in Miami, you will literally be doing, I know surgeons who will literally be doing 4 or 5 surgeries in a day. They have 4 or 5 girls laid out in the room. All of them are under anesthesia, and they're just there. But it's like, you guys are not even plastic surgeons. You guys are surgeons who went and got certified to do cosmetic surgery.
Right.
So if you're thinking about those who go and do BBLs, you hear stories about like, oh, they punctured somebody's lung, or they punctured somebody's vein, or they punctured, because these people are not skilled. They don't know the right places to put the incisions. They don't know the right places to move the machines. Most times they're not necessarily using the cell savers in the right way, separating that fat before they repump it back into your body. And the thing about it is that if you want to think about it, that's dead fat.
Right.
They're pumping dead fat back into your body. So I don't even, because I don't have a BBL, I can't really speak on it. But I want to think about, like, are there any long-term effects to that? That's a question that I asked myself. So for me, I knew I wasn't going international, because I'm like, okay, one thing I can guarantee with America is that, hey, if anything happens here, I can sue you. So, and another thing is, in Miami, they actually do not require surgeons to have malpractice insurance.
Right.
It's not.
That's
so
a big thing,
if anything happens to you in Miami,
it's you're on your own.
Yeah, you need a suit. You're on your own.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. And for me, I found out all this information because I was doing my research, because I knew, like, okay, I'm doing my lipo because I'm fat. I mean, other people, everybody has their own reasons for doing liposuction or doing whatever cosmetic surgery they opt into. But again, I really feel like it stems back to, what is your why? Because if your why doesn't make sense, you are going to regret it. Because the thing about it is just that a surgeon is not a musician, is not a magician. Like, it's not, and a surgeon is not God, obviously. You see a certain thing and you're like, this is what I want. 8 out of 10 times you're not gonna get that exact picture of what you want, because your body is not the same way, right? Even if you go and do surgery, if you come and bring them like, oh, I want to look like Kim Kardashian, regardless of what everything, Kim Kardashian has spent a lot of money on surgery. Regardless of what she denies, but we kind of know the truth. And also, surgery is addicting.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's one of my questions, right? Is once you get that plastic surgery, does it influence you to get more?
Yeah, surgery is addicting. Like, I will say, after surgery, I thought about it like, okay, maybe I can get my butt done. Not my butt, my hips, because I have like hip dips. I like my sides isn't. So I was like, okay, maybe I can get this done. I was like, maybe I can not get my boobs done. I was like, maybe I can get my hips done. Maybe I can get dimples in my cheek. Maybe I can do all these things. And again, all of these things are possible through plastic surgery. And I think another thing for me is, like, when I got into that office and I heard that I could do all these different things, I'm like, what now?
So let me ask you this. now you did the research, right?
Yeah.
You did the research. We're already done. But when considering plastic surgery, once again, do you actually consult your friends and your family for their opinion prior to making that decision?
So I had consulted my family members about it, but I think I was at an age where they were just like, if that's what you want to do, there's not much we can say. Some of my family members did encourage it. They're like, okay, well, because again, I feel like for me, I had gained a significant amount of weight because, like I said, that 132 pounds that I had gained, it was less than like 18 months thereabout. Right. So with them, I think they were also very concerned about the weight that I was gaining. So they thought like, okay, you know what, this is a safe option. A lot of them, they wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to affect me having children. So they're like, are you going to still be able to have kids? Like,
you got to make sure that we
pass. Right. I'm like, oh, yeah. So with them.
Still asking that hard.
Right. So a lot of my family members, they were like, if that's what you want to do. And then I was at the age too. So I had some family members who were just like, what? Why do you need that? But for me, I'm just like, I'm going to do what I want to do. So I did it.
So what about, let's say I don't know, were you dating at the time?
I was.
Okay. Could he have some input on what he wanted you to actually look like with the final person?
He was actually very encouraging of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was very encouraging of it.
Did he have input on like, I want you to look like, I want you to look like this? That was all you. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like men should have input on that?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, what?
Because I think, and it goes back to your why. Mm-hmm. You know, what's your why?
It's for you.
It's really for you. I feel like if you let anybody else influence that decision, if you come out and you don't like it, then you are gonna really beat yourself up, or you're gonna live with like a lot of regret. So for me, my why was for me to get skinny. Honestly speaking, I didn't really care how I looked, as long as I was skinny. Mm-hmm. That was it. Like it was like, I don't care what y'all do. I don't want the fat on my cheeks, on my under chin. I don't want a double chin. I know that I don't want my flabby arms. I know that I don't want this. I know that I don't want my thighs being as big as well. So that was me. I feel like if I would have allowed my partner at the time to tell me like, get this, get that, if I probably would have gone with what I think he would have wanted, I wouldn't have liked my body now. Right. So for me, it was like, let me decide what it is that I want to do, and I did it.
But just a hypothetical situation. What if because I'm assuming that this came from you directly, but what if he actually was the one that was willing to pay for it? Would you have considered that his input on that a little bit more seriously, or no? No, because it's still for you, right?
Yeah, it's still for you. Like, I feel like even if somebody wants to pay for it, you still really have to look at your why, because it's like I said, most people, there's this perception that I think is false at times. Most times people say like, oh, women get plastic surgery for men.
I was gonna say
that's not always true. Mm-hmm. For me, I didn't get my plastic surgery because I was a man. I got my plastic surgery because I was fat, and I wanted to go back to what I knew. I knew myself when I was skinny, right? There's some women and a lot of us who have plastic surgery because we have our own insecurities. But one thing that I've learned from the process is just that if you don't really deal with what your insecurity is, or if you don't highlight your insecurity, you're not going to be satisfied with the life. You're not going to be satisfied with whatever surgery you do. Because, for instance, let's say you get a BBL and you only want your butt to be just a little bit thick, just a little bit big, so that you can have a little cup, just a little cup. But guess what? 10 years down the line, as you're gaining weight, as you're having kids, as life is being life, as that booty is getting bigger, you're gonna start to feel some type of way. Mm-hmm. So the question is, do I really want to do this liposuction, or should I just take the time and go through the process of actually probably doing squats? Mm-hmm. If your butt is not that big, and if that's how God made you, mm-hmm. then it's like, do you just accept it? Because I think another thing too is that we're in a culture right now where plastic surgery is accepted, mm-hmm. right? And people laugh at Wendy Williams a lot, how Wendy Williams looked. But the truth of the matter is, when Wendy Williams got her boobs done, that was what was raining. At some point, you couldn't watch a music video without seeing a extremely skinny girl who had big breasts. That was just it. Right now, any video that you watch, you see girls who have Coca-Cola bodies, slim waist, big thighs, big breasts, cute face. It's all a trend. It's going to expire at some point. The same way how the big boobs and skinny frame. Like when I was a child, whenever I would watch all these Nelly videos and all that stuff like that, we had the capital P's, as we call them. It's a capital P.
Right.
We had the capital P. Right now you have the hey.
Yeah.
But guess what? When we have our children and they're our age, they're gonna be looking at us like, why y'all look like that?
Because we like our girls BBW.
Drake started. Drake is your fault.
Drake.
No, but that's the thing. I wouldn't even say it's BBW though, because BBW is not.
I mean, I just think that, you know, with culture, there's been this big change. With, I think I call it the strip club, right? Where they started emphasizing women in the strip club, started highlighting the attention, and obviously women in the strip club, the way they get their attention is by having, you know, these gargantuan bodies, you know, big breasts. Fat thighs, you know, sometimes their thighs don't match their packages, and it's just a whole conundrum of things. Right. But it's that's what I think brought us to this point.
And because culture is like that, it takes me back to the point where surgery is addicting. Because I don't want to call their names, but there's a set of twins who they've had an excessive amount of surgery. And when me personally, right? I mean. Beautiful girls, but when I look at what they look like when I watch them on Bad Girls Club, and when I look at what they look like now, I'm just like, when did we get lost? Because we can see that your lips are done, we can see that your nose is done, we can see that your breasts have been done, your boobs have been done, your butt has been done, you've obviously had some liposuction. So it's like, when does it stop? Because for me, honestly speaking, and I'm not gonna front, after surgery, I thought about it. I was like, okay, maybe I could get a little bit injections in my lips. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. But I really had to like check myself and figure out like, okay, Vanessa, why are you thinking of wanting to get these things? What are you trying to accomplish?
What factors did you find were those reasons?
That's where I really realized like, okay, you're depressed. You're dealing with your own insecurities. You haven't healed from certain things. You know, I had accepted a lot of things that people had told me as truth, because for me, while I was gaining weight, I was going a steady pace with my weight gain. But I think as people were telling me, Vanessa, you're fat, Vanessa, you're fat, when I was hearing people tell me things like, you look better, right? When people were telling me, I remember when you were skinny, you look so cute and stuff like that, I was internalizing everything that everybody was telling me. And instead of me saying, this is who I am as a person, or this is this, I was like, yeah, you're right. So even when I would work out, if I wasn't seeing results, I hired a personal trainer. I had a personal trainer, but I wasn't seeing these results immediately. So I'm just like, and people were still telling me, oh, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. So I think with me, it was a matter of just knowing who I was and just accepting it as my truth. It was like, you know what? I'm getting a little weight now because I'm getting older. You know, it is what it is.
2 last questions. So one of those questions were, do women typically believe that men generally like BBLs?
I think that it's become a belief now because of how it's celebrated in culture. You see what I'm saying? I feel like, so a lot of women just feel like that's all men. I've met some guys who they like skinny girls. And the thing about it is just that a lot of girls and a lot of things that's driving a lot of women to do liposuction and all these different cosmetic surgeries is because it seems like the majority is looking for a particular body type, a particular body size, etc., etc., etc. But they're not realizing that those women are actually a minority, and there's a big world out there outside of your immediate circle or what you're able to see on social media. So I think, yeah, a lot of girls do believe that that's what men want, but they'll be very shocked. I've met a lot of guys who are just like, no, I like a little petite girl. And I feel sorry sometimes for the women who are of a smaller build, or the ones who are a little bit bigger, because they almost feel like, where do we stand? And a lot of them, the peer pressure is causing them to opt into these surgeries as well. Because for me, I don't think I was big, right? but it wasn't. I was big, but it wasn't like, oh my goodness, you look disgusting. It really wasn't. Like, I was big, but I was still cute as shit. I had a cute face, so.
I'll cheers to that. For sure.
You know, I was big. I still look cute though. Like for me, I just had a little bit of rolls here and there, and then this section, because like I said, I did liposuction on my inner outer thighs. I think the biggest place on my body was my stomach and my thighs. But for me, it was a matter of I don't fit the picture of what people are considering beautiful because I'm this way, right? It wasn't the truth. However, the people around me and my influence almost made me believe that.
For sure. And my last question is, do you ever feel that natural bodies will make a comeback and people will actually go back to wanting to naturally get that body? Or do you think that the way society has made it to be and with all the changes, we're kind of stuck with this? Like you said, we're at a point now where liposuction, BBLs, this type of thing is socially acceptable.
Yeah. Honestly speaking, I don't know. Because we're in what I like to call a lawless society. I think we've adapted a culture of, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to say what I want, act how I want, and it is what it is, right? I feel like there's no governing in our society anymore. I feel like children are no longer being children. I feel like identity in general is missing in society. So whatever's raining, everybody's following the train. Whatever is not raining, everybody's pushing away from it. And I feel like, and it goes with everything when it comes to sexuality. Because right now, it seems like almost everybody's sexually fluid.
And that's what made
when
me
it
ask the
comes
question.
to cancel culture.
Yes.
It seems like nobody's allowed to make a mistake anymore. When it comes to people who are speaking outside of what's norm, it's like you're not woke, right? So I can't speak. I fear for the generation coming behind us,
Right.
Because I honestly just don't know what they should expect. Because we've really gotten to a point in society where things are, it's not what it was in the 90s. I feel like millennials and 90s babies were blessed because we were able to, we were born in a time where we saw the end of the era, but we were introduced to a new era. But this, like from 2010, it's like the world moves so fast.
Right.
So fast. And yeah,
we're just in a conundrum of different generations, right? So like for us 90s babies, I mean, I'll just say 90 to 95. We're really a golden era or a golden breed, or even 85 to 95. I'll give you that gap. 85
because we
to
saw
95.
VCRs, we saw DVD players, we had we had it all. We had the landlines, we saw the flip phones, we had the cell phones, we all like. But right now, kids, boom, iPhones. You're 10 years old. I'm like, oh wow. I wish.
This is the pandemic generation.
Yeah.
You got 2-year-olds. Shout out to Saint. Now he's not even 2. You got barely a 1-year-old knowing how to stand the phone up, pick up the phone, and get on FaceTime. Barely 1 year old.
Right.
Barely.
So that's the thing. Honestly speaking, with the way that culture is shifting, and because it shifts so fast, I really can't answer that question with full honesty to say yes, I believe it'll come back. Because honestly speaking, nobody ever thought that the capital P era would end. I call it. I mean, that's what it looks like. What's the capital P? Nobody thought that era would end. But literally, I feel like my advice to any woman who wants to opt into getting surgery is really, first ask yourself, what is my why? Why do I want to get it? Really ask yourself that question and answer it. Do your research. Please, if you're going to do plastic surgery, go to an actual plastic surgeon, because they are the ones who went to school and they are actually trained to do it. If you are able to avoid going international or going to Miami to get these operations done, please do so, because like I said, the surgeons in Miami are not required to have malpractice insurance. And if anything happens to you,
you're on your own.
You're on your own. And internationally, we all know, if anything happens to you overseas, America is not responsible. There's absolutely nothing you can do.
Right.
And your family now has to worry about trying to get you back. Flying to another state or part to get the surgeries done, that is also very dangerous, number one, because you have to fly. Blood clots are very real things. For those of you who opt to do BBLs, understand that because you've transferred fat from one area to another, you are still going to get fat. If you don't maintain your weight, for those who have liposuction, understand that you can still gain weight. This is not how I looked after my surgery. I promise you it's not.
You still look good though.
But I thank you. But I have gained weight. So it is a reality that's gonna happen. And if you don't really understand your why and try to address your why first before trying to go into surgery, you're gonna find yourself back into a circle of probably addiction, because you don't want to probably say, okay, oh, I did my first. That's why you hear people say, I've done 3 or 4 rounds of lipo. It's like, huh? And it's because they keep on trying to reach. It's kind of like a drug, right? You're trying to get to that high. You're always trying to get to the first high, and it's almost impossible. And I feel like as with women who are doing it now, back then I wasn't thinking like this, but I'm like, dang, I still gotta have kids. I'm in my 20s.
There's still a lot.
There's still a lot of life. I still have a lot of life to have. I have excess skin on my body, where I only working out can really, my arms have excess skin, my thighs have excess skin. So you will have excess skin if you're trying to, go that route. For those who want to do tummy tucks, I have seen a lot of women doing tummy tucks, especially the ones who don't have kids right now. I'm very scared for those, because your stomach is going to expand when you get pregnant. So doing tummy tucks right now, and that's the thing, your surgeon won't tell you all of these things because they're trying to get their money. It's their paycheck. They're trying to convince you to do the most that you can do because they want to get paid. It is very dangerous. A lot of people become addicted to narcotics because of surgery. Because like I said, I had 6 different types of pills. Like for me, thank God that I'm somebody who...
Do they do any opioid counseling? Opioid counseling?
No. That's what I'm saying. Thank God for me, I'm somebody who I really cannot take narcotics because I have extreme side effects. But I'm just imagining that if I was somebody who was dependent, on those narcotics, what would have become of me? They give me 60 Percocets. They give you, but then again, for them, it's what they need to give me because of the amount of,
incisions and stuff.
Exactly. So that's the thing, really just know your why. Just try to find out who you are as a person, because even if your why is like you're trying to get attention from guys or you're trying to date particular men, the question, do you really want to? If your why is because, like me, you've gained weight, you want to look like a certain body type, understand that is possible. However, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done post-surgery. So yeah, do the right research, and
that's it. Life will take its course.
Life will take its course.
So you just dropped a lot of gems. I think that like I said, I wanted to have this conversation basically because it was something that I was seeing a lot on social media, and I kind of wanted to understand why. I was scrolling through Instagrams, and it just almost was like a lot of people that I know personally, close, distant, Instagram cousins and whatnot, they was getting BBLs or liposuction or different variations of plastic surgery. To kind of compensate, and I wanted to understand why. I know every individual has their personal reasons, but why is it trending? Yeah. Why is it now socially acceptable? Okay. But at the end of the day, we learned so much because someone like you was able to kind of walk us through that process, kind of give us a little bit of feedback and understanding into that mental mindset of why people finally make those decisions and go about that process. So I want to thank you.
No problem. One more thing. For the people who want to go ahead and do it, have a strong support system by you as well.
For sure.
And for people who really don't understand the process of plastic surgery, or for those of you who look down or shun them, please just be kind. You really don't know what people are going through. You really don't know what people are thinking about in their mind, what their thought process is like before they make those decisions. And as you're adding fuel to the fire, most times you're not helping those people in any way, shape, or form. So just try to be kind. Even if you question it, ask the questions, but still try to be kind, because I feel like that's another thing too that's really driving people to make a lot of these rash decisions, is because a lot of people nowadays, they're just not kind.
Got some big meanies out there, some bullies.
Just not
Stop
kind.
bullying 2K22. But this has been an interesting conversation, and thank you for coming onto the platform. I really appreciate you. No, you family over here, so you've been on a couple couch talks. You gotta go way back to find.
Took a break.
Bisanga. But I'm your host, Sir Charles. This is Miss Vanessa Bisanga. You're watching SitM Podcast, the Couch Talk here on this platform. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below with the ringer bell to get all the notifications. Shout out to Flex, shout out to Ma, shout out to Tutu, shout out to Cherry, shout out to AK, shout out to, I think that's everybody.
Maybe.
And that's, I think I'm forgetting a couple people, but hey, shout out to the whole SitM family. Make sure you visit www.sitmpodcast.com.
Get your merch.
Get your merch. Remember, hoodie season, cuffing season.
Yes.
One for you and me, okay? Hey, and your brothers.
Both of them.
And your brothers. Both. Dang, you got two brothers.
I got two brothers.
Dang.
I know. There's so annoying.
So many hoodies being stolen. This is the Couch Talk. I'm your host, Sir Charles. Peace and love. Out.